After almost 2 years out of the spotlight, Paul Pogba is back. At 32, he's chosen AS Monaco as the stage for his redemption, a name still capable of shaking up any dressing room. Once the pride of French football, a World Cup winner, he seemingly vanished from the pitch after receiving the longest doping ban of his career. A positive test for testosterone brought his second spell at Juventus to an abrupt end, but Pogba never surrendered. He trained relentlessly throughout the winter, rejecting lucrative offers from Saudi Arabia and the MLS. His sole aim? To return to France, to his roots, to his burning desire to play. A 2-year contract with Monaco could be his lifeline, his last shot at a dream. A return to the national team and a place at World Cup 2026. Amidst countless scandals, haircuts, and controversial statements, Pogba never once uttered the word retirement. He himself declared, "I just want to be on the pitch, any pitch. I'm still that player, but with a different hunger, a bigger motivation, a stronger desire. I will cherish football more than before because it was taken from me. Now I understand how important it is to me." Paul Pogba's spectacular escape began with polite rejections of glamorous destinations. Saudi Arabia, MLS, even Gremio was once rumored. But instead of easily pocketing huge sums, Pogba chose a rockier path, staying in Europe to test if his legs could still withstand the rigors of top-flight football. And AS Monaco proved to be the perfect fit, both professionally and spiritually. The Principality Club had been tracking Pogba for weeks, discreetly making contact and maintaining negotiations as they observed his persistent training in January, despite his ongoing suspension. All Monaco needed was a player willing to shoulder responsibility within a squad seriously hungry for European competition. In fact, if the deal goes through, Pogba will make his professional Ligue 1 debut, something that surprisingly didn't happen 16 years ago when he was with Le Havre. Back then, Manchester United swiftly snapped him up before Lyon could make a move. Now the circle seems to be closing. Pogba will play in his homeland as a star who once brought a World Cup trophy to the nation. Another notable detail, his agent, Rafaela Pimenta, once emphatically stated, "What is certain is that Paul Pogba never intentionally broke the rules." That concise sentence reflects how Pogba chose to face public opinion. He didn't cast blame but quietly appealed to reduce his ban, then proactively asked to terminate his contract with Juventus to seek a new path. As for Monaco, they're not blindly trusting a name just to sell jerseys. They need a midfielder with game-reading ability, experience, and the mental fortitude to uplift the entire team in upcoming intense Champions League matches. Pogba's presence, whether on the bench or in the dressing room, also holds significant value, especially given his understanding of elite football's demands through over 400 professional appearances. For Pogba, every training session at Monaco's training center now feels like a battle. He needs to prove, with every run and every touch of the ball, that he's not just a media story left over from the 2018 World Cup, but a Paul Pogba who can genuinely perform today. However, the contract with AS Monaco is just the beginning. Pogba's biggest goal is that ticket back to the national team, to avoid missing the 2026 World Cup. That tournament could potentially mark the end of a golden generation he was once central to. Since his last appearance for Les Bleus in May 2022, Pogba has been absent for over 3 years, watching younger teammates gradually take his place, and the French squad continually undergoes a strong rejuvenation. Had the 4-year ban been upheld, all opportunities would have ceased. But the successful appeal, reducing it to 18 months, feels like his last chance to cling to the dream he once built. No one can guarantee Pogba a starting spot, even if he fully recovers. More than that, Pogba himself admits he's unsure how his body will react after nearly 2 years without high-intensity professional football. Former French international Florent Malouda, who knows French football intimately, once spoke about Pogba's current situation. First, he needs to get used to the intensity again. He doesn't know how his body will react. I don't think playing for a team like Gremio would help Pogba achieve his goals. I'm certain he wants to be at the World Cup with France. Clearly, for a midfielder who thrives on controlling the tempo and making a difference in midfield, even a slight physical deficit could make Pogba more of a burden than a hero. Ligue 1 will be a harsh test, as French teams today are no longer easy targets for faded stars. The opportunity to perform is there, and what's more, Monaco in the last 3 seasons has often shot themselves in the foot by dropping crucial points in key matches, simply because they lacked someone who could dictate the flow of the game. French fans still adore Paul Pogba, but trust has somewhat dwindled during his suspension. The 32-year-old midfielder played a mere 9 games for Juventus before parting ways with the club, a number far too small compared to the image of a world champion who dominated Serie A's midfield for 4 peak years. In return, if Pogba can prove he's fit, passionate, and clever enough, Les Bleus will have to consider bringing him back for the upcoming World Cup qualifiers. That would be the strongest rebuttal to those who once labeled Pogba a symbol of an untamed star. Looking back at Paul Pogba's entire journey, you see a special player, both on and off the pitch. From his days as an unknown boy at Le Havre, he captured attention with his undeniable talent and unique personality. The brilliant years at Juventus, then the over €100 million transfer back to Manchester United, everything seemed too smooth to create the image of a complete football superstar. But Pogba was never the type of player who played purely for victory. He turned everything around him into a story: new haircuts every month, bold statements, colorful commercials. This brought him millions of followers and lucrative sponsorship deals, but it also made Pogba a target for criticism whenever his form dipped. Yet, purely in terms of football, Pogba was never an ordinary player. At Juventus, he, alongside Pirlo, Vidal, and Marchisio, turned the midfield into Serie A's nightmare. Upon returning to Manchester United for a world record fee, Pogba was expected to be the key to unlocking a new era for the Red Devils post Sir Alex Ferguson. Unfortunately, not everything unfolded as planned. In his final years at Manchester, Pogba became the embodiment of a loud star rather than a true warrior. Inconsistent form, persistent injuries, coupled with noisy off-field stories, eroded fan trust. And then, the doping ban was the final straw, transforming him from a source of pride to a burden in the dressing room. The doping incident was the hardest blow to that image. Although sports authorities stated that the DHEA Pogba used primarily affects performance in females, a scandal is still a scandal. It was enough for many to quickly label him an overhyped, lazy person. Pogba understood this and chose to confront it directly. He silently appealed, accepted leaving Juventus to be free to start over. His upcoming contract with AS Monaco is therefore not just a final destination in his career, it's a trial by fire to see if Pogba can truly shed the shadows of the past. This will be where he must prove he's capable of leading the midfield, maintaining motivation and desire, not just appearing as a celebrity for media purposes. While doubts remain, no one can deny that a fit, focused Pogba would be an invaluable asset to Monaco in the Champions League. He brings experience, composure, and the skill to control the game's tempo, qualities the Principality club still lacks. And most importantly, he has a very real reason to play. One last chance to regain lost trust, to personally cleanse the doping scar from his career resume. Pogba stands at the final crossroads of his career. Behind him lies a past filled with glory but also numerous controversies. Ahead is the journey of redemption, with no guarantee of success this time. All the 32-year-old midfielder needs right now is the ball at his feet, the sound of the kickoff, to answer all doubts himself. Many might be waiting for the next stumble, but if Pogba overcomes all skepticism, this comeback story will become the clearest proof that fame cannot sustain a career. Only an unyielding spirit can save it. The upcoming matches will be grueling, from sweat-soaked training sessions to high-tension games. But this time, Paul Pogba understands he has nothing left to lose except faith in himself. And who knows, perhaps that very quiet determination, along with that unspoken hunger, is what will help him rediscover his true position as a leader.